Dinner with the Coaches. I am your host, Nadira Lewis, and I am excited to be able to introduce my co-host, Thomas Taylor, and we are excited to be able to introduce our guest panelists here with us today as we begin to talk about what to do, how to figure out your dash. Let us go ahead and introduce to you our first panelist, which is Kayla Kravitz. Welcome, Kayla. Coach Kayla is Kayla's a confidence coach, and she helps you boost your confidence in whatever area you struggle with in the areas of self-esteem. Kayla is your girl. We also have international herbalist, holistic and wellness coach, Charmaine Harrison. If you guys need help with getting your health together and making sure you push out that waste, she's your girl. That's the one that can help you get it done. And last but not least, Latrell, professional actress, Latrell Allen, who's here to offer her approach on coaching in the areas of entertainment and all things pertaining acting in the entertainment world and whatever else that Latrell has that she's going to share with us. So Latrell, thank you for joining us here on the Dinner with the Coaches. And we are excited, you guys. So I'm Nadira. I'm also a inspirational life and mindset coach, and I am also. You can also. I am here to assist and help you to take your life experiences and turn them into life lessons. So I'm excited to be here with you guys as always. So, Coach, my favorite co-host, Coach Thomas Taylor. That topic that you got for us today, how to figure out your dash. Why don't you start us out and talk to us? How do we figure out our dash? Help us understand what that actually means.
Yeah. Good evening, ladies. Thank you guys for having me. It's always a pleasure. Always. It's a thought-provoking question, right? Like, how do you figure out your dash? And what I mean by that is ultimately, when you see on a tombstone, you see a day that you were born, and then you see a day that you actually perished, right? And in between that is a dash, you guys. And sometimes we live our lives just existing and not really understanding how important that dash is. Why? Because when somebody is standing there on your behalf and they're talking about you, guess what they're talking about? They're talking about that dash, the things that you did, right? How instrumental were you? Well, when you kind of get a little bit deeper, are we actually understanding and have we figured out our destiny, our why? Like, because that dash represents why were we here and what we did while we were here. Why? Because I always say, you can't get out of life alive. So what happens is sometimes we don't even focus on those things that equate to that dash, those things that are inside of that dash. Right. So one book that I read, and it's a very powerful book, is The Purpose Driven Life, right? The Rick Warren. And when you look in the beginning of that book, right, it says it's not about you. So how fast can we figure out that dash is not about us, but at the same time, it's our responsibility to figure out why we are here and what do we have to bring to help other people. Have you figured out your dash?
That's very powerful, Coach. As we were talking about it backstage before we came on live, you said something to that effect that really made me think about one of the most powerful statements that we've heard. Everybody knows about the quote from Mark Twain: "The two most important days of our lives are the day that we were born, and then the day we find out why."
Why? Yeah.
And that's so key. And then there's another quote by a late great pastor. I think, what was his name? It's escaping me right now, but he says that the greatest place on earth is the graveyard.
Graveyard, yeah, we talked about that.
So many people go, they die with all of their gifts left in them. And I remember after I graduated from undergrad back in 2000, it was in 2008, but it was sometime right before it. And the church home back in Houston for me, the Fountain of Praise, and I was going there because my mom was going there, and I remember my pastor, Remus Wright, when he was there teaching, one of the things he said something that was so powerful to me. He said that he wanted to leave. He wants us to leave this earth empty, and not in a bad way, but in the way that the things that God has deposited, all of our gifts, our talents, our skills in us, we are to leave it here in the earth, to leave it better off than what it was when we were put here, right? And so for me, that's what that dash represents, figuring out taking the journey to figure out what that is, what those skill sets are, and discerning how to use them. I think about the scripture that, in the good book, as we always say, that talks about the talent, the parable of the talents, right? The one who had the 5, 2, and then the one who left it, he did nothing with his, right? I always think about that, especially when I question my own abilities a lot of times as an actor, because it's this gift, it's the journey as an actor, as an artist. It's not like a normal, regular, everyday, 9 to 5. It's very up and down, and it's project based, especially when it comes to films, TV, and even with theater. So the questions that we ask ourselves all the time when we're not working, we're not on stage, when we're not putting our gift to use, a lot of times it makes us question who we are, or if this is what we're supposed to do. Did I make the right choice? Is what I'm doing, is it touching anybody? You know what I mean? And so for me, that's one of the things, and it took me a long time to really understand, because I remember when I was 10, I discovered that I wanted to be on TV, but it wasn't until I became an adult that I realized why. And it has nothing to do with the fame and the glamour and all that cute stuff. It's kind of like all of that I learned is like coleslaw. It comes with the territory, right? It comes with the plate. It comes with the dish. But it's the work. The work is the main meal. It's the main course. And everything else, is dessert, is coleslaw. It comes with the territory. And for me, it's whose life did the story, the character I just played on stage, on film, on TV, did it change your life? Did it help you to see yourself better? Did it make you question your own actions, your own thoughts? And from my own experiences in theater, seeing conversations, having people say, oh, this person told me, oh, such and such, or XYZ, or this, your show made me do, you know what I'm saying? I do it. Hearing those people say that, for me, it's like, wow, like that's what I want my dash to be. Did what I do, what I leave on stage or on this project, on this film, on this TV show, how did it transform you as a human being? And I'll say this last thing when you were talking. So a lot of you guys know, my mom passed away back in January. And one of the things that a lot of what I kept hearing was how the way she lived her life, led people to God, right? It's like everybody knew that when it came to my mom, it was always, there was a spiritual connection there. And I remember that when I wrote my, I forgot what they called it. I guess like my last moments to her or what have you, my expressions. I told her, I wrote in the letter, I said, you left the greatest gift you could ever give a child, and that was my relationship to God, because of her relationship to God and what she left behind. So her dash, from the lives that she touched and their expressions, showed me who she was. And although for me, or to so many of us, she may have died at a, younger or unexpected, or in the sense of, hopefully living longer, the life that she did live it was full, right? She lived a full life. So when I think about the dash, I think about, like what you said, you know, the legacy. What am I leaving behind? Whose lives am I touching? And seeing the life my mom lived, what, you know, that is representation, you know, for myself. So I just wanted to add that to it.
I'm so sorry to hear about your mom, Latrell, passing away. And
Thank you.
I think what I've learned in even understanding what, even with us talking about this dash, what I'm realizing is that it's at the end of the day, really grabbing a hold to the weightier matters, you know, in life, figuring out if everything that you do, even if it's building a business, building a family, you know, the why behind it has to be more than something that's just where we're just going to benefit from. And I feel like when we take time to put more value into people, then everything else that we need will start to line up when we are in alignment with our purpose. And our purpose basically means that during that dash is that we're actually doing what we were sent here to do. We are actually fulfilling God's plan for our life. And I think even more important than money, I think money is great. It's wonderful when you have it. But I think what happens is when I am starting to realize not to put so much emphasis on just money. If you increase your value, then money will follow behind you as a result of the value that you bring. So the more money the more time I spend on increasing my value and realizing that I'm not going to live my life based on how other people are living their lives. I'm going to live my life based on how I see me fitting in this world and being an impact where I am. And that's where I'm my most productive. That's when I'm my most, that's when I have my most excitement, is when I'm doing what I was sent to do. And I think sometimes, even as entrepreneurs, we get caught up in the information world. And I think I was talking to somebody about this earlier in the week. We put so much emphasis, knowledge in and of itself tends to puff up. And it's good to have knowledge. It's good to have, but you need understanding. Knowledge and understanding is what brings wisdom and the ability to be able to bring it to pass. It doesn't matter if I'm sitting back and having all of this information. If I'm not making room to apply it, then my dash is going to be, she just knew this, or she was just somebody that knew that. But who did she impact? A lot of what stagnates us in our dash is our looking at our visions and the things that we do from a result of other people's perspective and not looking at it from our ideal client's perspective. Are you actually helping? And it's funny because I heard somebody say this before. Anything you let sit too long dies. And sometimes as entrepreneurs, we sit too long on our gifts. We sit too long on our talents because we're waiting. We're hoarding information, and you know we get access to stuff that's going to help us grow, but we're not doing anything with it. We're just sitting. And so you put I give the illustration of, if you put a dozen of eggs on a counter, after a while, if you don't cook it, it's going to die. It's gonna stink. You know, if you take a pack of meat out the freezer or the refrigerator, you sit it on the counter and you don't do anything with it. I don't care how much you season it. I don't care how much you make the meat look good. I don't care how much you prep the meat. If you don't cook the meat, it's going to go bad. And it's the same way with milk and many other examples. And I believe that a lot of us have gifts and talents that we're not activating on, and we're allowing our dash to be just that. It's stagnating us. Our dash is stagnating. It's not telling our life story. We're stagnated because we're not activating what's on the inside of us. When you think about a baby walking, right? A baby you don't give a baby a ton of instructions before the baby starts walking. The baby learns by figuring it out. By the baby it starts to crawl. And then through crawling, I just believe the Bible says the will of God is not made known to us intuitively. There are some things you're going to need to learn. I definitely agree with that. There's some things I had to learn, but there's some stuff that makes the gift on the inside of it just becomes intuitive. There are some things that you just know how to just do if you activate. I think we depend on people to tell us what to do all the time. I can't move unless this person tells me this. I can't do this unless this person validates that. Sometimes you just gotta move, and just like that baby keep falling, get back up, keep falling, get back up, and then eventually that baby just starts walking it out. And that's what some of us do. And is we hold on, we stagnate our gifts and our talents because we're waiting for somebody to say that's okay. You can go. You can go now. We're waiting for people to approve and say that's good enough. Sometimes you just got to do it afraid. You got to just do it, bump your head, and then be like, okay, I learned from that. Now maybe that lesson you can teach somebody else when they bump their head. This is how I got up. But if the only thing that our dash is doing is stagnating us, it's not good.
Right. Definitely. And I want to add to that, like, so the thing about the dash, most people are not focusing on that. They're not focusing on the dash because they don't know when they're going to perish. If you get to a point where you actually see your death, you would live a lot differently. Yes. We're too busy living in survival mode. We're too busy. We got to pay these bills. We got to do this. We got to do that, because living is a choice. But a lot of people don't understand that they have choices. A lot of people, we live like we don't have those choices. So it's kind of tough. Whether we're living like we're invincible or we're not living at all. We're living in fear, slowly, just day in and day out. So, and I believe that in order to live out your dash, first, you have to go through an experience in life that you have to go through your experience to help others through theirs. Because your dash is basically that's going to be your testimony and how you push through that in order to help others. And I believe that we have to go through our own journey first before we actually be able to do that, because our life lessons that's basically something that we're going to take with us. And unfortunately, some people learn their life lessons later than others because often we get distracted. We're getting distracted in life. So yes, definitely I was, elaborating off of what you guys were saying. But yeah, a lot of people, they just don't understand. They don't know they have choices. They're living in survival mode, and it's hard to get out of that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with what Charmaine was saying. What I want to add in here is like we all born with a gift. Now imagine a place where all this box with the gift inside is hanging out there, and we are not taking advantage of that gift because we are living in autopilot. We are not creating this space to step into the power that God create us with. Because we are afraid, or because what happened when we was child, and we have been limiting ourselves to that extent. All right. So living in the autopilot is living in this busy life, getting distracted, and not focus on what you came to this world to do. Right? You are afraid. And what? Go for it. Because if you're not, no one will be fulfilling that for you. There is things that only you can do. No one else will be able to do that for you. If you don't take that step, it is scary. Absolutely. But you need to go for it. Like Nadira said, you are waiting for people to give you that permission to step in something that it's your to do. It's your light to be shine. And you are afraid of it, right? And you are waiting for someone to tell you that they love you in order to fulfill your dream, when you can be telling yourself that. You can give yourself permission to step in your power. You can give yourself permission. You can give yourself the love that you are looking in somebody else. Right? So I want everybody to start like thinking on the life that they will be impacting, on the generation that is coming after that, because you fulfilling your gift is not about you anymore. It's about the generation that will be coming after you. So if you don't own your power right here, right now, like Coach Thomas said, the graveyard is the richest place in the world. You don't want to get to that stage when you pass away and the people say you was a good man, a good woman, and didn't pass that.
Hmm.
What was the value you left in this world? What was the lesson you teach the people?
Hmm.
What you gave, and it's not what you took, but what you gave to others. Because for
Hmm.
me, my dash what's coming to my mind is when I go, I want my name to be remembered. I want people to be saying that I did something valuable that they will be remembered for long generation.
Hmm.
I want to be the one who impacted the people to believe in themselves, to remember, to remind them like how confident they are, to remind them that they already had the gift inside of them, but the eyes are closed. That's why they are not able to see. So this is what I want to add in regards to the Dutch, right?
You know, Kayla, that's so powerful. What you said and what Charmaine just said, I wanted to piggyback. And you literally said the word, which is why I laughed so hard. It's this the journey, right? The dash, the journey, the life cycle, right? It is scary. It's a scary thing, um, especially when you are walking into spaces and places that are unknown, right? We get comfortable in things that we know because what we know how to control, we know how to handle it, right? But when we're challenged to step out on the water, if you will, right? And we don't know what the result is going to be, we don't know what it's going to look like. We may have had experiences like that before. I mean, I'm speaking directly to myself because I was talking to my roommate about this morning, just about some things financially that I have been really fighting with over the last couple of days. And for me, it's the trust, right? It's trusting God in everything. I'm 37, so all the years that I've been taken care of, I have to now go in this process of figuring out why, like, what is it that I'm not trusting God enough to let go and really know that whatever this journey is required of me to become, so that that dash is fulfilling, so that the world will know I was here, and when I heard one of the things that really catapulted me to where I am now is Beyonce's I Was Here. You've never heard the song? Look it up. Beyonce, I Was Here. She did it. It was on Humanitarian Day. And that when I say that is one of the most powerful songs in life that would motivate anybody who wants to fulfill their dreams, their aspirations, to say, what did you do while you were here? She says, I want the world to know that I was here. I did X, Y, Z. And for me, that's the most powerful thing. But yeah, it's the things in between, the person that we are becoming, right? That's included in that dash that I think that a lot of people fear, change, right? Because something, we said it last week, to whom much is given, much is required. And so, we can share with people all day, just do X, Y, Z, but it's a mindset, right? It's a development process. And we have to have the courage and the bravery to say, okay, yes, this change is going to be required of me. It's going to sting a little bit, but you know, whatever I have to do to become, so that my dash can really speak volume, can shine through. You know, I have to be willing to take that step. I have to be willing to take that leap out on faith, step by step, right, in order to do that. So there's always so many, you know, components to this process, to this journey. So
cool. So that was wonderful, everybody. That was the first level, right? we got through the first level. So now we're gonna go one level deeper, right? So I'm gonna take a little bit from what everybody said, especially Nadira, and I like the baby falling analogy. So there's one word. This is the next level now. There's one word that I didn't hear, you guys, and this word, when I say it, you guys will resonate with it, and it's the driver. So all the things that we just talked about, we talked about the why, we talked about, you know, what do we hear, what do we give, right? Talked about knowledge and understanding, and the word is purpose. Why? Because when you understand your purpose, it becomes your driver to your dash. When we don't understand our purpose in terms of the things that we feel that's inside of us, innate inside of us, that our Creator put us here to do, when we don't understand that, what happens is we wander endlessly. So you go back to the analogy that Nadira said, and the baby falling, right? Why does the baby keep getting back up? The baby understands the purpose of getting back up. What's the purpose, Thomas? The purpose is to walk. After they finish crawling, when that's behind them, the next level for them is to walk. That's the purpose of why they keep getting back up. If they did not want to walk, what would they do? They would stay down. So the purpose, as you can see, the purpose becomes a driver. It becomes a driving force, so much so that we start to focus all our energies, if we understand what it is, for that purpose, right? So that's why the book is called Purpose Driven Life, right? Because we're on this call right now on purpose. It was a choice, right? Ultimately, to help other people kind of open up their minds and open up their ability to have larger vision of themselves, to move. But the purpose is so relevant because in our lives, when you get to a certain age in your life, if you don't start to do things on purpose, things just don't happen haphazardly. You have to start being very deliberate. Why? Because in this information age, there's so many distractions, you guys. There's distractions coming all around us. So if you don't have the ability to mitigate all of that and laser focus on your purpose, what'll happen is you'll find yourself getting caught and watching somebody else's purpose. And thinking that it's yours because it looks good, it looks enticing. Your spirit resonates with their purpose. And this is what happens when they realize that they have you as a follower. Now they put the claws inside of you and they start to pull you in a direction that you was not ordained to go. Can we talk about purpose?
That's good. That's good. That is so true. And I think just like babies, since we're on that analogy, babies watch for inspiration. They watch and see you walk, right? And so as they're watching and see you walk, they get inspired. They start to practice. And that's what we do. When we see other people succeeding, when we see other people doing what they're called to do, then we get excited, we get motivated. But sometimes in that motivation, we follow, we keep going. We don't stop to use that motivation as inspiration for us to continue in our journey. What we do is we follow them and then we wind up discontent. That's how we wind up in jobs that we don't like. That's how we wind up. That's how we wind up, you know, in places that we don't want to be, because we spend more time following that motivation into something and not really being just in, and not in, and I mean taking the inspiration, not the motivation, taking the inspiration. I mean, taking the motivation and not using it as inspiration to say, okay, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it too. And I was listening to something Grant Cardone was saying, and he said it was so powerful, and I never thought about it this way. And he said, you know, all of us want a business. Everybody wants to do something. Everybody wants to be something. Everybody wants to succeed. But everybody thinks that they're supposed to do everything on their own. Everybody wants to be their own island in their own world, doing their own thing, and nobody wants to. And I thought about that, and I said, you know what, that is so true. And I say, you know, because the first thing what happens is when you want to build a business, or you want to, you know, live in the dash in purpose, our purpose connects us with people. Our purpose connects us. Not only are we just there and we're, you know, we always want to be in charge. We want to be the boss. We want to be in charge. But sometimes, but not realizing that being a great leader is being a great follower in terms of being able to watch other people and be able to learn from their experiences. And I can use myself as an example, because I would get so motivated watching people go in their direction. I was one of those ones, Thomas, that I was like falling behind them, and because I was so inspired, I wanted to, you know, I want to be like that too. I want to be, because this perceived freedom of doing what they are, instead of understanding that freedom that they have is because they're doing what they're supposed to do. And so what happens is you start running in that direction, and you get excited when you're running in that direction, because you're like, oh, I'm behind them. I'm next. And then you realize you're in a foreign place. And then you start to get secretly frustrated, because now you followed them to a point to where you're like to yourself, I didn't mean to go this far. And then you realize as you're following, 5 years went by, 10 years went by, 15 years went by, and you're frustrated because you were motivated by somebody. You started, and that's what happens when we follow, especially network marketing things. You know, we get in, we like, woo, we go to events and we excited, we're like, yes! And then we realize, wait, I don't want to do this. I just was inspired by it. And that happened to me. I was a part of a network. I was a part of many network marketing groups, and there's nothing wrong with network marketing. This is not why I'm saying this, but because I think there's something to be learned from everybody. But I'm just saying, for me, I was that one that was following it, because this is you're going to make a lot of money, and you're going to do like this. And if you follow me, I'm going to make you rich. I'm going to do this. And then you start getting excited because you're like, whoo, and you're caught up in the hype, but then purpose starts to settle in after a while. And you realize, yeah, I want to make money. Yeah, I need the money, but I'm being pulled in a different direction. And sometimes when you're being pulled in a different direction and you begin to turn around, and then you start being at peace because you're walking in that direction, now here comes you don't listen. You don't this. Then you start getting back into guilt, thinking that I'm supposed to be, and I feel pulled this way, but my dash is not, now it's no longer a dash. Now it's like a crooked line, you know, because you're following, you're confused because you know, and I can't tell you how many years I've been completely confused because I don't follow. Sometimes as entrepreneurs, you attract entrepreneurs, you attract entrepreneurs. And if you haven't quite gained clarity in your mission, you will kind of go with whoever has the dominant personality or the dominant influence. And so you will think, because they're more dominant in that area, they know what they're talking about, I need to follow them. But sometimes you just need to be inspired by them so that you can know what it's like. I remember we had this conversation before, and you were saying, what did God tell you to do?
Yeah.
And I said to myself, darn, I almost forgot. You know, yeah, that's a good question. You know, and that bothered me. You know, and we talked about it bothered me for a long time. Darn, I almost forgot because I've been so motivated watching everybody else in their vision. I get tired because I'm the type of person, I'll get in a vision and I'll go in and I'll just, you know, and then it's like, I remember I give you a sample. I work for this company. And they told me, okay, we need to have people inside. We need to, they wasn't doing like a natural hiring process. And they said to me, your job is to just bring the people. So I was like, whoa, I'm excited. Because they're like, you're going to get a percentage of everybody that walks in the door. So I'm thinking, woo, I'm excited. But my gift was like, now my gift kicking in. Because now I'm motivated. Now I'm starting to operate in what my natural gifts, because whatever's your gift just comes naturally. So I noticed they were struggling to get people in the office, and they were like, okay, Nadira, we turn this over to you. I said, okay, great, no problem. So what I did was, I believe in working smart and not hard. So what I did was I ran an ad in the paper. You know, that was back then when that was popular. I ran an ad in the paper. So we had like 10, 15 people coming in the office a day. They were like, wait a minute. They was like, wait a minute. What are you doing? I was like, you said get people in the office. You didn't say how. You just said get them in here. And they was like, come in, let me pull you to the side. Let me pull you to the side. It was like, you can't do that. That's a violation of compliance. I said, well, you didn't tell me that. You just said, you asked me to do something, and with my natural gift, I drew people in with what I knew, with my experiences and my knowledge base. And they were like, no, honey, you can't do that. So I was like, but by the time y'all get one person in, I done got like 20 people in. Y'all, I can't do this. I can't. And I started to get frustrated because now things that I was naturally was interfering with the way they were doing things, and I was getting secretly frustrated. But I thought, well, if I want to be successful, I have to do what they say do. But I wasn't becoming, did I make money? Yeah. But it still wasn't fulfilling because it wasn't what I was supposed to do. I was caught up in the motivation behind what they were giving me. Instead of using it as inspiration, I was using it. It was holding me bondage.
Yeah.
And I did that for many years. And then 5 years come up, and you look up, and you're like, dang, I haven't done anything that I was supposed to do, because I've been watching you for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I've been watching you. So when you said that, what did God tell you? I said, dang, I didn't think about that. Like, I don't even know. It's been so long because I've been following this person, following that person, and following this person, and that I was completely lost. So I had to come to a conclusion to say, you know what, Nadira, slow down. Think about this thing. You know, you got access to so much stuff. It's now time to apply the stuff. Mm-hmm. Take the information that you have and stop. You're getting frustrated because anything that's stagnant and doesn't move, it just becomes a burden. So I was being burdened with all this information and not doing absolutely nothing with it.
Wow. That's deep.
Huh. You know, that was very powerful, Nadira. You said so much in that, and I can relate to, just to bring it back, just like with the network marketing experiences. And one of the things that you said that really came to me was the awareness. You know, Thomas, you mentioned our purpose. And I think it's a level of awareness that we have to have. It's like an awakening, if you will. It's like, as Oprah calls it, our aha moments. And I believe that there are many ways to get to that aha moment. Sometimes it comes via different experiences. Sometimes it comes through, we bang our heads against the wall. It's like, well, wait a minute, what is going on here? Or sometimes it will come through, having a mentor, or it'll come however it comes. I think it just comes through us living life. Some catch it sooner, some catch it later. And I would just to to say to help those who may be listening or may listen to this later to shorten that curve, you know, so that you can get to your purpose faster. Whatever your source, your belief, your higher power that you know that you pray to, you believe in, I would say, you know, seek that help, seek your answer from there, right? You know, so that way you know where your help and where your guidance is going to come from, because the Creator God he made us, like he put us here specifically for a reason. And asking the question, why am I here? Like, simply put, you know, even before you think you know what you're supposed to be doing, ask. Just double check, you know, double check to make sure. Because a lot of times we make decisions. I know I've done it a million times, thinking, oh yeah, you know, God told me to do X, Y, Z. And it's like, no. I didn't find out till after the fact. That was not, you know, he did not. I mean, perfect example, when I was living in Atlanta for about almost 3 years. And he's like, I didn't tell you. And when I say it was a huge, when I say like banging your head up against the wall type of experience, it was a struggle from the beginning, from the day I set foot in Atlanta. But I mean, I got, you know, he provided for me every single step of the way, but literally, and I put this even in my book, but it was, I describe it as like this maze, right? Where there's kind of like, it's one way in, but it's one way out. And before you get to the end, it's like there's this, you think that there's more on the other side of the other end of that maze, but what's on that other end, it's like, no, God is trying to tell you that what you think is over there is not what it is. And so me having to go back home to be redirected, to regroup, to re-strategize, to figure out, okay, why, what is my purpose? What am I doing? Where am I supposed to go? You know, asking these sorts of questions to get to my purpose, so that I can get back on track, or get on track, right? Towards that mission. And that takes a level of awareness and knowing also who we are, you know, and that, again, that too is even a part of this journey, you know, that drive, right? And I think one of the ways to kind of just really help us do that is just, you know, plainly and simply just asking the question, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? You know, versus having to go through the years and the decades of figuring out, because, you know, like what Nadira was saying, I too have had those moments where I've been inspired, just like on this inspiration wheel for however long, and trying to figure my life out on my own, right? Hopping from one network marketing company or one job or one gig or one this or one that to the next, instead of just saying, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? Where do you want me to go? Where am I supposed to be? Right? What's the GPS? Where are we going? Where's my destination? Right? So I think that just asking the question is a great start. Even if we think we know, double check, because what we think we know is never always, because, you know, the word says, lean not unto our own understanding, right? But trust in God with all of our heart, our mind, and our soul. So I said that backwards, but y'all get the point. But so we don't lean on our own wisdom, our own knowledge, and our own understanding, because we don't have all the answers. So
right. And to kind of elaborate on what Latrell was saying, you know, and what Coach Thomas was saying, like, your purpose is your driver to the dash. So, you know, a lot of people, they live in a place where they're kind of feeling sorry for themselves. They're blaming others. They're living on autopilot. They're, not giving themselves permission to actually live, and as a holistic health and wellness coach, I see this a lot with people because, helping them to be able to push waste out of their body. A lot of times they just don't understand. They say, well, I'm going to die anyway. So, I may as well eat what I want. And, I have to sometimes take that same attitude, tell them, take that same attitude and tell that to your child. Take that same attitude, take that same statement, stare in front of someone that you love and say that same thing. And, that purpose to kind of, kick in. It's a choice. You have to take self-accountability. It's important. You have to have that laser focus on your purpose, as you were saying, and not comparing yourself to how somebody else operated. I often tell people how you operate then, how I operated at one point is not how I operate now. For example, you tell like a bodybuilder talking to somebody that wants to, small and frail. And they're like, they looking at them and they're glamorizing them. And they're like, I want to do what you're doing. You kind of say that. And it's just like, but how that bodybuilder got to where they're at that time and moment is not the same way they were operating at that time when they were, building. It's different levels. So that's why it's so important not to compare yourself to other people. In this life, you live with your purpose. Your purpose is to live, apply, learn, and then help. Not to try to figure it out as you go. That's, you're not, and that's a lot of people just, you're trying to question, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? But walking in your purpose, that's life. It requires you to take that leap of faith. It requires you to wake up with your purpose, with clarity, knowing who you are, knowing what you want to accomplish, as Latrell was saying. But don't be so afraid to the point where you just never move because you're so busy trying to figure out where you're going. You have to take that leap of faith, and a lot of people don't move because they don't understand that, their purpose. And as a coach, as a health coach, I have to help people understand that. When I go through the holistic approach, that's how I begin when I start teaching people. So they don't understand the mindset part. They just want the physical transformation. They're like, why are we meditating? Why are we doing this? Why do I have to figure out this, that, and the third? How is this going to help me? They're so busy asking questions, they're not applying. And I have to tell them transformation happens through the experience. So that's my take on it.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Kayla, go ahead.
Yes, very powerful, Charmaine. I love that. Yes, because the people are taking those inspiration from the others, right? And feeling motivated, but what the others are providing them. So let's say the people are taking the courses and taking the session with the coach, and they are not applying none of what they are getting in their life, right? They are just collecting all this knowledge and pile it over there in the desk on the computer, and they're not applying it because they are scared. And asking the question come like, when I will be fulfilling my purpose. When you already have all you take, you already got all this knowledge from all these like a little bit of addition that you needed, right, from other people to make this cherry on the top of the cake, and yet you haven't eat the cake. It's like you have the cake, but you are not eating the cake. So what is the point for you to have it? You just want to see it, how beautiful it look like. No, you want to take action. You need to be doing the work, like Charmaine just mentioned. Your purpose is to live, is to fall and stand up. He's like a baby. He's not worried how many times he will fall off.
Mm-hmm.
His focus is, I will get up and I will walk.
Yep.
So when you have your purpose, you are focused. So there is no noise, there is no distraction that will take you away from your light, from your guide. Because this is the light is over there, is guiding you, and you are just moving one step at the time to reach that. You are living your day doing all it takes to reach your purpose. You are not wondering where the money will be coming from because you know that it's coming. It's the same thing like I ask the people, what would you do if you knew that your bank account has 100,000 pounds or $100,000? How would you feel? How would you behave? How would you start acting? Right? I'm sure they will be start like laughing every day, wake up in the morning feeling at the best. So why not start to wake up in the morning, feel at your best right here, right now? Because it's only then those greatest things will come to you. You don't need to have the money in order to feel good. You need to feel good in order to get that. It's like a Jim Rohn once said, they're not going to be giving the money for the people who aren't prepared. So you need to be prepared in order to receive. It's the same with your purpose. You need to live every single day doing your best, living your life, feeling amazing every day. Wake up like with the gratitude. Wake up believing like God, the creator, whatever, name it, is there for you, is protecting you, is guiding you, is giving you all you need to move forward. For example, yesterday, I went to the party and I was enjoying. I just didn't took my key with me. When I get home, the door was locked. I had my brother and my sister at home. Both were sleeping. In my sister's phone was showing that she was away from Facebook for 1 hour. And my brother was away for 7 hours. I was asking, who would I call? Guess what? My phone had 1% battery, right? I knew that my sister, when she started to sleep, we can carry the house and move, and she wouldn't wake up. I just called my brother, and he answered the phone. And I was, you know what? Lord is watching. He's there with me. And he just guided me to take the right decision, to call the right person in order to get what I want. It's the same with you, and it's the same with your purpose. He already gave you the purpose, and he's there to guide you through the journey. So you just need to live your best life, doing, believing that you already have all it takes to shine your light, to empower others. So go through it, even feeling the fear. I know that in the other side, it is uncomfortable, it is scary, but once you reach to the other side, you will be like, ooh, it's way much better. I didn't thought I would feel this way, but I'm grateful that I did that. So this is what I want to ask for you. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And I want to piggyback off of what Latrell was saying. And she was talking about that book that sometimes we pick up and it has 66 chapters. So if you read it somewhere in Matthew, somewhere around 7, 7, and 8, it talks about what she said, right? What does it say? It says, well, ask, right? When you understand that, ask and it'll be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be open unto you. For everyone that asketh, receives it, and he that seeketh, find it, and to him that knocketh, it shall be open. So what are we asking for? Right? Because when you understand your purpose and you ask your creator to help identify that, like when I asked him there that question, well, what did he tell you? Because he put something in each and every one of us and everyone that's listening. What did your creator tell you? Right? Because that's your homing device. He wants to know, he wants to see if you can figure that out and connect with what he told you. Well, once you understand that, are you asking? Are you seeking? And are you knocking? Why? Because if you do that, it'll start to line up, you guys. And then you come into balance. And once you're in balance, there's a oneness. Because you're in alignment with what he told you. Because he could have told a person next to you and a person aside of you something different, and that's okay. Right? Now you guys can be on the same road, going in parallel, right? But you don't have to be doing the same thing, you guys. Right? And that's the difference. And sometimes we get caught in that because we'll see somebody doing something that we like and we think that that's what we're supposed to do as well. Well, maybe not. The question is, what did he tell you? Why? Because what he put inside of you, it actually could enhance the person alongside of you. You know, I always like to use myself as examples and look at myself and Nadira, right? God placed something, my creator placed something inside of me. Well, when I listened to Nadira and I watched her, I heard something, I called her, we started the dialogue, and then she told me what her creator told her. And those two things start to align, and out of that, we created Dinner with the Coaches. Just like that, you guys. Just like that. Right? That's how it happened. Right? Because Nadira has strengths and she has weaknesses. I have strengths and I have weaknesses. But the two of us, they complement each other. Why? For the greater good. To put ourselves in a position to create a platform for other people. Because what we do is heart-centric, right? We lead from our heart because we want to give value and show value to other people. Why? Because we know, you guys, there's people watching us right now that's struggling, that's alone, that's by themselves. They could be in a crowded room and they're still alone. Something that somebody says on this panel, it may just give them that burst of inspiration, right, to move. And the reason why I use the terminology inspiration versus motivation, motivation gets you excited. Inspiration helps you move. Why? If you listen, and Latrell, you're in an acting scenario in that genre. If you listen when they ask people, even if they ask Beyonce, if they ask Usher, when they ask them the question, they'll say to Usher, who inspired you? You'll never hear them say who motivated you. Why? Because when they ask Usher who inspired you, he says Michael Jackson, James Brown. Why? Because the inspiration that he was able to see and connect with, it made him move. They asked Beyonce, who inspired you, right, to be who you are? And she'll tell you, actors, Denzel, like all these different actors. If you listen to the interviews, they'll never say who motivated you. They'll use the term inspiration. Because inspiration, once you identify, you see it, it identifies with what he put inside of you, and you move. It forces you. It's like a magnet, you guys, and it pulls you. So between Nadira and myself, we were inspired by each other. The inspiration created a collaboration, and here we are, man.
Absolutely. And I think too, most importantly, understanding that your dash isn't always a dash, and sometimes until the end. You know, sometimes your dash is a curve. You know, sometimes your dash is a dot. You know, it's not until you leave this earth that the dash is even acknowledged, you know, because it's not after you fulfilled everything, because you're not going to know everything as you're going. I think sometimes we want to have all the answers before we become. We want to have all the solutions before we go. We want to have all the directions, and sometimes you just got to do it anyhow. You know, you have to do it, and then that curve eventually starts to straighten up once you get in a position to where you're supposed to be. And sometimes that may, you know, I told my late husband this before he died. I said, you know, it's, you know, all of us have a set amount of years for us to be here on earth and to make impact, whatever that is. I said, but it wouldn't that be something if you on earth and you've been given 40 years to live, and you only find out what you're supposed to do in that 39th year. You only have 1 year. You only have 1 year to fulfill that once you wake up. And he was like, wow. And I thought, wow, it's at that point where I started to look at, and I even was thinking to myself, like, man, all those years, you know, we think of it as waste, but really it's just that curve. We're going through that curve, trying to figure it out. And I think, like you said, Thomas, once we get in alignment and once we start taking time, you know, even what Charmaine said was so powerful about not living in, you know, realizing that you do have choices. You know, you don't have to be and stay where you are. You can change. And I think once we start opening ourselves, when we start cultivating, and I'm trying to figure out the word I want to use for our, when it comes to our mind. Your mind can hinder you, or it can motivate you, depending on your experiences, depending on your circumstance. And you have to be the one to choose and say, you know what, am I going to allow my past experiences to hinder me? Am I going to live in this curve? Or am I going to allow myself am I going to cultivate what I do know and just like that baby and just keep trying, get up and keep trying. If you fail, you got to get up and keep moving. I heard this song, I think it was by Aaliyah, and I used to hear it periodically on the radio, but I didn't realize exactly what she was saying until one day I stopped and I said, and it was like, if at first you don't succeed, if you don't to try again. I forgot how it went. But I thought, man, I've heard that song on the radio for years, and I'm just realizing what the words say. And I think that's what happens. Sometimes we're just going along. So we're going along the curve, and sometimes things, we have to wait for that awakening to just say, you know what, okay, all right, now I don't want to go in circles no more. I don't want to go around in a circle no more. I want to walk straight. And I think that's what happens in the illustration of a baby. When a baby gets tired of falling, sometimes that baby cry, especially if they're, when I thought about my children, when they started working out, they were crying, because they were trying to get that walking thing down, and they kept hurting themselves, and they were getting mad. And I'd be like, keep on going. You can do it. And that's what we do. That's what we are here as coaches to do, is to inspire and to motivate them to get up and keep going. And Charmaine, she's motivated people to say, look, you don't have to eat the same stuff all the time. You don't have to suffer with disease in your body. You don't have to suffer that. She had lichen planus. And I'm like, I still look at her pictures and I'm like, wow, like just how impactful a decision really is. She made a decision that she didn't want to be like that anymore. She made a decision, and her choices followed her decision. And that's what happens. We have to learn. Sometimes you don't learn to make better choices until you get access to new information.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah. Thomas, you said something that came to my mind when you talked about the alignment. And I thought about, for whatever reason, I thought you were going to say like a boat, like a team, like a canoe team, whatever. Yeah, whatever you want to call it, like the team. I think like the canoe team is what have you.
Yeah.
And I thought about everybody, and this is with all things, that where it requires an organization or a huge organism or a machine. Everybody does not have the same gift. Everybody does not have the same thing in order for that machine to work. Some people, the person in the front of the boat right, is not supposed to do the same thing as the person in the back to steer the boat, to get it moving, right? And so are the people in the middle. Now, some of the people in the middle may have the same talents and skills and abilities, but their purpose is all different. So how they row the boat, how they steer the boat, you know, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not an expert, but I know everybody rows on the opposite side of the boat, right? So if everybody was on the same side, on the right side of the boat, that boat is going to tip over to the right and they're not going to make it too far, right? And vice versa. But everybody has their side of the boat to sit on and to row from in order to keep the balance, in order to keep the alignment going for that to happen. So I thought about that when you talked about, you know, how you and Adira came together as one to let this machine come about so that it can roll or to move like it's supposed to.
Yeah, amen.
You may be on mute, Nadira, if you're trying to speak.
I thought all that time I was just like, we're gonna take a quick break so that you can take some time, grab a coffee, call a girlfriend up, call your boys up and say, hey, you need to watch Dinner with the Coaches. We are figuring out our dash. So we'll be right back after this with our special guest. We'll see you in a few moments. Alrighty.
Do you have a business, product, or service that you want to share on the Sisterhood Check-In broadcast? Make sure you send us a message at becomingawomanofproverbs@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us at 470-560-5949. We look forward to partnering with you here on the broadcast. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to join me and International Holistic Health and Wellness Coach Charmaine Harrison as we begin to discuss all things health every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. in the Wisdom Clinic. I'll see you on the inside. You sometimes get overwhelmed and discouraged. Well, let me read to you what Colossians chapter 1 says, verse 8. Who also declared unto us your love in the Spirit. For this cause we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you, and to desire that ye might be filled with the knowledge of his will and all wisdom and spiritual understanding, that ye may walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God, strengthened with all might according to his glorious power unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness, giving thanks unto the Father, which has made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints of light. I just want to take the time to tell you, be encouraged. Don't let anybody take your light, and just know that God is always in control.
All right, and we are back with Dinner with the Coaches. And we are having, I'm telling you, I am loving the dialogue that we're having in regards to helping people find their dash. And I think it's important that you find out what your dash is. And if you have been enjoying the conversation with the coaches, make sure you put a comment in. If you have any questions for us, make sure you put it in the comment section, and we would love to be able to answer your question for you. I would like to acknowledge our audience. You guys have been amazing in interacting, and I want to take the time to show you our appreciation for you watching with us. Thank you so much. Jocelyn Mira says, you guys have been amazing. She is so grateful. And another person says, great show, coaches. All right. Thank you so much. Carolyn Taylor says, sometimes you just got to be still. Yes. That's the hardest thing, not being still. Chris says, amen. And yes, purpose equals drive equals passion. Jenta, hi Jenta. Jenta says, yes, Kayla, powerful message. Y'all, Kayla is off the chain. Kayla's like that quiet sneak. She like that quiet that when she gonna sneak up a word on you, and she gonna be like, boom, and you gonna be like, you gonna bust out of that or whatever it is that you dealing with, because Kayla is no joke. Genta says, hello, leaders. Hello. We have another person says, hi, coaches. Hello. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate each of you for joining us. And we're going to continue this, like I said, we're going to continue this dialogue. If you have any questions, please make sure that you put them in the comments. If you have any questions regarding health, make sure that you address it and let us know. We have our international herbalist and holistic coach, Charmaine Harrison. So if you have any questions in regards to health, she's here to answer those. We also have Kayla. She's a confidence coach. If you want to know how to get yourself back in alignment, Kayla is here to help you. So if you need help with your mind or your marriage, Thomas is a marriage and mindset coach. So if you need help with your marriage and you're struggling to figure out the dash between you and your wife, Thomas is here to help you do that. And I am also inspirational life and I was about to say holistic coach. See how much I tell you, I promote some people so much sometimes I forget what I do. I am an author and inspirational life coach, and I am here to take your experiences and help you turn them into life lessons, which is why I talk about, and I'm very transparent about my life and how I am, because I want you to understand that I've been where you are, and I understand the process, and I want to help you on your journey. So if you have any questions for the coaches, we will be here for another few minutes to answer your questions. But guys, are you enjoying this? I'm really loving this different coaches thing.
Yeah, good stuff. As you can see, there's levels to it, right? And kind of once you start to have that particular dialogue, like you don't even realize what you have already installed inside. You don't really have to go and rehearse or prepare, because you live this, right? We're just creating a platform where you actually can articulate those sentiments about your experience, because they're important, right? A lot of people are just kind of struggling in their own lives, not understanding and not really realizing which way to go in terms of direction. Well, one of the things that we're driving home today is purpose, right? And Indira kind of mentioned, some different things. And what it took me to mind was when we talk about Christ, right? When you understand, when you kind of read that parallel, at 30 is when he did his first miracle, right? He changed water to wine, right? And then his dash at that time, it represented 3.5 years he had to identify, right? Because he understood his purpose, but those around him didn't understand his purpose. So in 3.5 years, he perished. But in those 3.5 years, if you kind of read, he did a whole lot, you guys. Why? Because even the 12 guys that was with him didn't understand who he was. But he understood his purpose. Right, even so much so, and T.D. Jakes had a guest speaker today, and he talked about it, and I had mentioned it to somebody yesterday. When you understand, he said, hey, some are calling you Messiah. And Peter said, some are calling you this. What did he say? He said, who do you say I am? Because at the end of the day, that's all that counts. Who do you say I am? He said, you are Jesus the Christ, right? He said, flesh and blood did not reveal that to you. Right. So when you understand that, he understood his purpose. And I just use that as an example in terms of when we understand unequivocally, when we understand our purpose, you guys, nothing or nobody around us can shake us. The reason why we kind of get unstable, we're not so sure, is because we haven't locked in with our purpose. It doesn't mean that we can't do other things, right? But our purpose should be our number one driver, right? If it's not, you just find yourself kind of wandering, trying to figure it out, right? So if you're talking about time, meditating, studying, things of that nature, I would really recommend, and I highly recommend to everybody, work on understanding what that purpose is and then writing it down, right? And understanding it and then elaborating on it, because your purpose could be multidimensional, right? But as long as you understand what it is, that becomes your driver, you guys, like a GPS.
You know, that's powerful, Thomas. And I thought about, and I'll share this to kind of really close it out for me. The process and the journey as an actor, right?
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing is on the craft side, the journey that we go through before we step on stage, film, TV, tell whatever story we're telling. We do a lot of technical things, right? We do a lot of the technical things that's a part of the process to get ourselves ready. And then before we do that, one of the things that we're always told is to let everything go, right? Let everything go, because we know what we know. We know the lines. We know our marks on stage. We know who we're talking to. We know everything we're supposed to know, technically speaking, right? Our purpose is to tell our character's story.
Got it.
And it's never about us. And actors suffer with two things. One being self-conscious, and we're always in our heads. So a great director is always going to help us get outside of ourselves so that we can make it about our scene partner. We can make it about the other person. Because once we understand that it's not about us, that it's about the other person or people that we're talking to, the purpose for why we are on stage or on that film or on that TV show, on that commercial, whatever the project is going to come through that medium. It's going to come through the stage. It's going to come through the audience. It's going to come through the film, whatever. And I was watching this guy, he's an acting, directing, consultant, all those things. And I was working on a project, I think about a month ago. And there was a struggle. There was a struggle between me and the director to get me to do what they were trying to get me to do for a specific scene. And after that moment kind of came and went, I found this video, and long story short, this guy was explaining his process, how he works to get his actors to inevitably do what it is that their purpose to do, which is tell the character's story, right? He calls it the interrogation process. And when he was explaining it, I was like, oh, I've done this before. I did this when I was in school. My teacher, she called it the hot seat. And basically, in essence, what it is that he talks directly to the character, not necessarily to the actor. Because if you're talking to the actor, it's going to be hard for you to get the character. It's going to be hard for you to fulfill the purpose of that story if you're talking to the wrong person. So what he was explaining and breaking down is this interrogation process. He's talking to the characters because the characters don't know. The characters aren't on TV. They're not being filmed. They're just living their everyday lives. We are the conduits, right? That's being used to tell these characters' stories. So his purpose is, in order to get us to tell these characters' lives, this part of the process of communicating to the characters, not to the actor, not to Latrell, not to any of my scene partners, what have you, but to the character that I play, right? To the characters that we all play, because then he's talking to the character. He's talking to the people that we are being, that we are playing. And so when we understand, when we let go of all the technical stuff, when we let go of all the things that we already have learned how to do, then our job after we let everything go is to just be. That's our purpose, is to be these people, to tell these stories. And for me, one of the things that I have learned is that everybody who comes into this business, they come into it with different reasons. They come into it for different purposes. Everybody's not in it for the craft, and that's no knock. Everybody has their own reasons. People are in it, for the check. People are in it for the fame and all that, which is the worst thing to do. That's a huge danger because it can kill you if you just come into this thing for fame. But if you're in it for the craft, the work, you understand the deeper and higher meaning for why you do what you do, as an artist. Because as an artist, we are a conduit. We are a vessel to tell these people's stories, to walk in someone else's shoes, to shine the light on their lives, to transform and change the world. We're not just here for ourselves. Some people are in it to just say, love me, love me, love me. I need validation. I need this. I need that. And that will tear, with that mindset, the industry will chew you up and spit you out in a heartbeat. So the purpose with this has to be deeper. It has to be more meaningful. The purpose has to be more than just us. It's at least, especially, again, depending on what you want, right? You have to know what you want in order to know how to move with intention, right? And so for me, I figured out years ago, and I'll say this last thing from this guy, this coach out here in New York, talked about asking ourselves the question, do we want longevity or do we want, the immediacy? Do we just want it for, a job or what have you, et cetera, et cetera. And when I knew initially, when he said that, I knew I wanted to be in this for the long haul. I knew that this journey, my intention for everything that I do moving forward was going to take work. It's going to take time. It's going to take growth. All of the things necessary for me to get to a part of the dash. That's a part of my life, because my life is not just defined by me being an actor, but it's everything else in between as well.
Charmaine, you look like you wanted to say something.
Oh no, but I'm pretty much, as coaches, we do the same thing. Like Latrell was saying, we basically, we help other people, no matter, how, what's going on with us. When you identify your purpose, you go in and you help other people find their higher purpose so that they're able to achieve their goals. So I definitely can understand, where she was coming from when she was saying that.
Awesome. Ayla, did you have any final words before we end the broadcast?
Absolutely. For me, it's more like when Charmaine said the long term. Sometimes we are sacrifice the long term for short term goals, right? Sometimes we just see one line and we believe that is our journey. That will be like the line straight. When the truth is, we go ups and down, figuring it out, failing and standing up and moving forward, right? So this is what I want to add. The success or whatever you look into your life, it's not gonna be happening overnight. Your confidence, if you lost it along the way, you're not gonna be recovering it overnight. It's gonna be taking time to build that so that you will be fine or figuring out your dash, right? That's what you are looking for. So it's not a one line straight, it's going ups and down, falling, standing up, but make sure that when you fall, you not stay there. You find the strength you need to get back again and move forward.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us again on another broadcast. I know Thomas is going to close us out, but I wanted to take time to personally thank each and every one of you. I don't take it for granted that you guys invest your time and you invest your gift to our community and to make sure so that we can all be prepared, so that we can all be equipped with what we need to make that dash effective in our life. So, guys, I just wanted to also let you know if you guys are needing assistance, I wanted to go back again and let you guys know you can always visit International Herbalist and Holistic Coach, Charmaine Harrison. You can visit her on her website at www.healbynature.org. Make sure you set up a discovery call so that Charmaine can help you in the areas of your health. She is amazing.
Yes, real quick, a part of your purpose should be your health. It definitely should be your health, so you can enjoy your generational wealth that you make. And but you gotta have that health portion, because you want to experience happiness, you want to experience, the prosperity, things like that. But you do have to wander through the wilderness. I'm going to tell you that right now. And if you are ready to do that, like Indira said, go on the website, www.healbynature.org, and book a call with me.
Absolutely. You heard it from the coach herself.
Awesome, man. For real. That was awesome.
Don't forget also to visit Kayla. Kayla is a confidence coach. Kayla can be reached at www.kayla. She's a confidence coach, www.kaylakravitz.com. Kayla, did you want to talk about your programs and what you offer?
Yes, I just want to add a confidence is a must to have, guys, because without the confidence, you will be standing behind the curtain when you should be shining your light. So just step up in your power and get your brilliance out there. If you want to find me, you can go to my Facebook on the Kayla Kravitz, or find me in www.kayla.com. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I also wanted to take today, I wanted to introduce to all of you that are watching. I did it during a commercial. I don't know if you guys had a chance, but I have created my first 100-page wisdom planner and journal. So it's 100 pages of inspiration, journaling, planning. You guys make sure you go to womanofproverbscoaching.com to get it. It is released today. And I don't know if it'll allow me to let you see it. Let me see if I can pull it up. You can see it right here.
Wow, nice.
Vision, making it plain. You fail to plan. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So it is a purpose journal. So make sure that you guys, it's 100 pages, guys. I've worked hard on this. I've been working on this for a while. So if you need help planning your life and learning how to journal, because sometimes when we're going through things, we need to be going through life, should I say, where we have a lot of thoughts that go in and out of our mind, and so you need to be able to journal those thoughts. You need to be able to journal those thoughts and be able to plan your life at the same time. So make sure you go to the website, www.womanofproverbscoaching.com. Thomas?
You want to hit Latrell first? Want to give an opportunity?
Oh, Latrell. Yes, definitely. Latrell. Anything else you want to say? Anything you want to promote to our audience while we are here?
Not right now at the moment. I know if any artists or any actors that are interested, you can also actually find me. In addition to Facebook and Instagram, you can definitely find me on Clubhouse. I'm there pretty frequently on Saturdays and Sundays in the table read screenwriters room, where I read scripts with other actors live. So if there are any writers and directors out there who may happen to be listening in or who may catch this, you can definitely find me there if you have any scripts or anything like that you would like to have me come and read. You can find me there on Clubhouse as well.
Awesome. All right, Thomas.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Another awesome, dynamic show. You guys, we appreciate you guys being here. Again, my name is Thomas Taylor III. I do Facebook Lives on Sunday morning. You guys can kind of follow me on Facebook at Thomas Taylor III. Or you can email me if you have a conversation or subject that you're interested in. You can email me at TYD@TaylorYourDreams. Or you can check me out on my YouTube channel, Thomas Taylor III, Taylor Your Dreams. if you want a 60-minute session, free session, if you want to really understand your purpose versus your talent, right? Because sometimes we get those confused, right? Sometimes we think things that we're good at in terms of our talent is our purpose. So we can have that discussion as well. But again, like always, it's always a plum-pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege, you guys, serving you guys and being there for you. So we'll definitely be here next week to go ahead and give you another great show. But again, appreciate all you guys as well as the guests and everybody out there listening. Great job, you guys. Great job.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, you can watch the replay on each of our pages, because I'm sure everybody has shared it. You can watch it on a page, or you can watch us on YouTube at bit.ly /WOP YouTube. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know we appreciate you, all your responses, and we'll see you next week. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.
Do you have a business, product, or service that you want to share on the Sisterhood Check-In broadcast? Make sure you send us a message at becomingawomanofproverbs@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us at 470-560-5949. We look forward to partnering with you here on the broadcast. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to join me and international holistic health and wellness coach Charmaine Harrison as we begin to discuss all things health every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. in the Wisdom Clinic. I'll see you on the inside. You sometimes get overwhelmed and discouraged. Well, let me read to you what Colossians chapter 1 says, verse 8. Who also declared unto us your love in the Spirit. For this cause we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you, and to desire that ye might be filled with the knowledge of his will and all wisdom and spiritual understanding, that ye may walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God, strengthened with all might according to his glorious power unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness, giving thanks unto the Father, which has made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints of light. I just want to take the time to tell you, be encouraged. Don't let anybody take your light, and just know that God is always in control.